Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel. Great to see you today. First of all, let's start with where or how Americans will immediately feel a quadrupling of the cap on refugees to the United States.
Well, these border states and the border personnel are going to be inundated even more, because what Joe Biden keeps doing is putting a magnet out to draw people to this country illegally, putting them in harm's way, putting them in the hands of cartels who they have to pay to make this dangerous trek. And it's impacting children at a significant rate, many who are dying as they make this journey. So instead of saying, let's tackle the immigration problem, let's have immigration reform, he keeps throwing quick fixes out there that appease the Democrat progressive left without actually solving a root problem. And boy, I feel so bad for our Border Patrol agents who are so overwhelmed right now, and they have a president and a White House who doesn't care about them and the task they're undertaking.
Well, and it's so interesting to hear you talk directly about the families, the refugees, particularly about the children, because we know the pressure that is happening at the border right now in terms of protecting children, and what a huge job it is, as you point out, for the Border Patrol. An Albanian refugee, Peter Lamage, says Biden's decision to raise the refugee cap is not about helping people, though. Watch this.
Why is he increasing the number of refugees now? What is the intent? The intent of the Democrat Party is to create a permanent underclass in the United States so it can be dependent on the government and create a voting bloc for the future of the Democrat Party. So we should understand the intent is not to bring these people, to get them out of misery and out of suffering.
That's an interesting first-person perspective. Your reaction to it?
I think he's doing tremendous harm to these families who are coming here with hope and want to come to the United States of America, but are being put in the hands of cartels. And I talked to Governor Abbott last week. He said there is not a single person coming across our border who is not being dealt with the cartels. They have to pay the cartels to cross into the United States of America. And many, many children are dying along the way and suffering horrific abuses as they come to this country. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, not only will they not go to the border, they haven't even spoken to the governors who are dealing with this firsthand. So he's putting a policy in place. He keeps AOC happy and Durbin and the progressive left, but it is a catastrophe for everybody who's dealing with it in real time in our southern states.
How is it that the progressives on the Hill have more pressure and can get more effective action from this president than millions of Americans?
You know, he ran as a moderate, Harris. We know this. He ran as, I'm going to unite people. We saw his inaugural speech. He has been nothing but. I tweeted a couple days ago, he has spoken more to Xi and Putin than he has to McCarthy and McConnell. He has no interest working across the aisle. But I think it's really telling that they haven't gone to the border and talked to the agents and talked to the families and talked to the people who are really dealing with this crisis firsthand. And that shows that he's not really interested in solving the problem. He's interested in giving to his progressive friends and making sure they get their win.
Chairwoman McDaniel, we heard that one Albanian refugee talk about, well, Biden's not focused on helping the children. Here's some children that maybe can get the president's attention, different subject. Some fifth graders in Virginia went way off script, apparently. They were asked to simply tell President Biden and the First Lady what remote learning has really been like. Watch.
Like if we were like really tired, then we could, take a little nap. Yeah. Sometimes when Miss B was like paying attention to something else, you could eat and it was fun. If you don't know the question, you can just pretend like your life doesn't matter. I didn't like virtual.
You didn't? No.
It was terrible. I liked it.
One student said it was terrible. We have children. We know firsthand, Chairwoman, what the journey has been like. 1/3 of students, just to remind everybody, still in the United States right now are not getting full-time in-person learning. So a cup of truth from the kids.
I know. I think it's the first time that President Biden took unscripted questions or talking points from children. I also think it's interesting that the CDC is taking their guidance from teachers' unions. Maybe they should talk to the children, because this is what it's about. Kids who are lacking in education, who aren't getting that in-person instruction, who are getting a gap in what they need to get ahead. I think Tim Scott put it so well in his speech. He said kids being locked out of the classroom today are future adults being locked out of their potential. And that is so true. And I have a son who's in virtual. I'd be happy for him to pick up the phone and talk to President Biden about how awful it is for him. It is really, really catastrophic for these kids. I deal with it firsthand. And it's sad that this administration is putting the unions above the children. And that's the problem across this country right now. Democrats are putting the unions above the science and the children because we know it's safe for them to go back in the classroom right now.
Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel, I do want to get to this before I let you go. Democrats are locked out of a Texas runoff election. That race will now see two Republicans, Susan Wright, Jake Elsey, facing off for a congressional seat in North Texas. Even a Washington Post op-ed is calling it a bad omen for Team Blue. Here's the quote. If this result is a harbinger of the midterms, Democrats are in for a bloodbath as the suburbs snap back into Republicans' lockstep. You know what's interesting about this? You and I have talked so many times about how productive and successful the RNC has been at those door knocks. Imagine post, a time when many people are fully vaccinated, post that time where people might not open their doors. If you get back out there right now, is that op-ed right?
Oh, we were out there. I mean, we were knocking doors. We contacted 4,000 voters to get them out. We knew we had to target likely Republicans in that district. And you know what? The Democrats did it too. They were fighting for this seat. So don't let them pretend that they were walking away. This was their best chance to flip a House seat. And they came up empty and they ran 11 points behind Joe Biden in 2020. This is huge for Republicans that we walked away with 2 Republicans in the runoff. And we're going to pick up another House seat, which shrinks Nancy Pelosi's margin heading into 2022, where we're 5 seats away from taking back the majority.
Real quickly, every president, just about, pretty much, loses in that first midterm, right?
Yes.
Because it's kind of a resetting point, what people think they want. They kind of like a little split government. Bloodbath is some strong language for, the Washington Post. What's your quick take on just how bad it could be?
Well, I never want to get comfortable. I want everybody to work hard. But we can take back the House. It is 5 seats away. Usually it's 26 seats in a midterm. But Republicans have to show up. We have to be united. Let's remember what Joe Biden's doing to this country and not focus on our inner disputes. We've got to work together if we're going to win and take back the House in 2022.
Ronna McDaniel, Chairwoman of the RNC, great to see you today. Thank you.